Margaret is 68, a retired teacher from Manchester who moved to Valencia 3 years ago. Last year, she decided to clear out her spare room. A few old books, some kitchen items, a bicycle she no longer used, and a box of handmade greeting cards she had made as a hobby. Nothing unusual. Just a retired woman making space and earning a little extra money. Most of it went through Wallapop and Vinted. By the end of the year, her total sales came to around 2,400 euros. Then tax season arrived. And suddenly, Margaret saw something that made her stomach drop. Hacienda had information about her online platform sales. Not an accusation, not a fine, just data. But the number looked big, 2,400 euros. And like many retirees in Spain, Margaret's first thought was simple. Have I done something wrong? Here is the problem. The number Hacienda may receive from platforms is usually a gross number. It shows what was paid through the platform, but it does not always tell the full story. It does not automatically show that Margaret originally bought most of those items for much more than she sold them for. It does not automatically show that she was clearing out personal belongings. It does not automatically show that after postage, platform fees, and original purchase costs, there may have been no real profit at all. And that is the trap. Not the tax itself, the fear around the tax. In this video, I'm going to explain how Spain's platform reporting rules work in 2026, why most retirees selling personal items on Wallapop, Vinted, or eBay are not the real target, and the 2 simple questions that can help you understand whether you may actually owe anything. Because once you know where you stand, a tax notice stops being terrifying and starts being manageable. Let's start with what has actually changed. Across Europe, platforms are now required to report certain information about sellers to tax authorities. In Spain, this is linked to rules known as taxation and the reporting system used by platform operators. That sounds intimidating, but the most important point is this. taxation is not a new tax. It is an information rule. It means platforms may have to send data to tax authorities about people who sell goods, rent property, or provide services through digital platforms. For example, if someone makes more than 30 transactions in a year or receives 2,000 euros or more through a platform, their data may be reported. That does not automatically mean they owe tax. It means Hacienda may now have a number. And your job is to understand what that number really means. This is where many people panic. They see 2,400 euros in platform sales and assume that the full amount is taxable income. But in many everyday second-hand sales, that is not how the situation works. If you bought a sofa years ago for 800 euros and sold it on Wallapop for 200 euros, you did not make a profit. If you bought a bicycle for 600 euros and later sold it for 250 euros, you did not make a profit. If you sold clothes, books, furniture, or household items for less than you originally paid, there is usually no real gain. The platform may show money coming in, but tax is not only about money coming in, it is about what that money represents. That brings us to the 2 questions every retiree in Spain should ask before panicking. Question 1. Did you sell the item for more than you paid for it? If the answer is no, then in most ordinary second-hand situations, there may be no taxable gain. You are not running a business, you are simply selling personal belongings that lost value over time. Question 2. Does your selling look like a business? This is the more important question. There is a huge difference between selling your own old furniture and buying items specifically to resell them for profit. Margaret selling a few boxes from her apartment is one thing. John, age 72, going to flea markets every Saturday, buying vintage lamps, storing them in his garage, listing them online, tracking margins, and doing this every month is a different story. That begins to look like an economic activity. And once something looks like an organized activity done for profit, the tax position changes. The platform is not the issue. The pattern is the issue. The same Wallapop account can be harmless personal selling in one case and part of a business in another. That is why the most dangerous mistake is not selling online. The most dangerous mistake is not knowing which category you are in. Let's go back to Margaret's example. Her platform sales showed 2,400 euros. That sounds serious. But when she checked her records, the picture changed. The bicycle had been bought years earlier for 600 euros and sold for 250 euros. The books had been bought over many years and sold for much less than their original price. The kitchen items were second-hand personal belongings. The handmade cards brought in a small amount, but after materials, postage, and platform fees, the profit was tiny. The number Hacienda may see is the platform number, but the real story is in the records. And this is where retirees can protect themselves. You do not need a complicated accounting system for occasional selling. You need a simple record.
A spreadsheet is enough. Date sold, platform used, item sold, sale price, original purchase price if you know it, fees and postage. A short note explaining whether it was a personal item or something made or bought to sell. That simple record can turn fear into confidence. Because if Hacienda ever asks a question, you are not trying to remember everything from memory. You can answer calmly and factually. What you should not do is panic and pay money just to make the anxiety go away. And you should not ignore a notice either. Those are the two bad reactions. The smart reaction is to pause, check the facts, and understand what is being asked. If Hacienda has platform data, that does not automatically mean the data is wrong. But it may be incomplete. It may show the amount received, but not the cost. It may show sales, but not whether the items were personal belongings. It may show transactions, but not your intention. And intention matters. Were you clearing your home, or were you buying stock? Were you selling things you used, or were you sourcing items to resell? Were these occasional sales, or was there a regular organized pattern? That is the difference between a retiree clearing a spare room and someone running a small online business. There is also one more situation to be aware of. Sometimes the data can simply be wrong. A refund may not be reflected properly. A shared account may include sales that were not yours. A platform may report a gross figure that does not match your own records. If that happens, the answer is not panic. The answer is evidence. Download your platform transaction history. Keep screenshots. Keep bank records. Keep postage receipts. And if the figure does not match, respond with the facts. This is not a confrontation, it is a correction. The emotional side is important too. A message from Hacienda can feel frightening, especially if you move to Spain later in life and you are still learning the system. The language is formal. The website can feel confusing. The process feels official. And when people are scared, they often assume the safest option is to pay. But paying without checking can be expensive. It can also leave the underlying misunderstanding unresolved. The better habit is simple. Do not ignore. Do not panic. Check first. For most retirees selling occasional personal items, the real risk is not that they owe a large amount of tax. The real risk is that they misunderstand the rules, assume the worst, and give away money they did not need to pay. So here is the simple checklist. First, add up your platform sales for the year. Second, check whether you crossed the reporting level, more than 30 transactions or 2,000 euros or more. Third,
Remember that reporting does not automatically mean tax. Fourth, ask whether there was a real profit. Fifth, ask whether your activity looks like personal selling or a business. And sixth, keep basic records so that if Hacienda asks, you can answer with confidence. Spain is not trying to tax every retired person who sells an old chair, a bicycle, or a box of books. But the system is now better at seeing platform activity. That means the people who are prepared will be fine, and the people who panic may make expensive mistakes. You have worked hard for your retirement. You moved to Spain for a simpler life, not to be frightened by numbers on a tax screen. So remember this: the platform shows the number. You know the story. Make sure your records can tell it.